So to tie a slip knot, you can choose to tie that any way that you like if you already know how you tie slip knots. This is generally the knot you use to tie balloons on little kids' wrists. But my favorite way to do it is to lay my yarn out like this, give it half a turn. So at this point, I think it looks like a fish. Here's the fish's head, and here's the tails coming out. And you are going to reach through the fish's head and grab one of the tails. You're going to leave the long ends of the tails on the outside, so you can put your hands on them if you want to, so that you remember not to let those come all the way through. And we're just going to take that strand that we grabbed, and we're just going to pull. You know that you've done it right if your loop changes size. So if you pull on the tails and the loop gets smaller, you know you tied your slip knot correctly. If you pull on the tails and nothing happens, you want to try it again. In a slip knot, if you do pull it all the way, it will just snap open like that. I'm going to do it one more time so that you can see. We give it half a turn, we reach through the fish's head, we grab one of the tails, we leave the long ends of the tails on the outside, and we just pull. As long as our slip knot changes sizes when we pull on the tails, we've done it the right way. You do want about a 6-inch tail hanging out on one end. If it is longer than that, that is totally fine and not at all a problem. If it's shorter than that, tie another slip knot. At the end of your project, you're going to be weaving in this tail. You don't need to weave in all 6 inches of it. You'll probably only be weaving in 2 or 3 inches. But if you make the tail only 2 or 3 inches long, it's really difficult to weave it in. So go ahead and leave it a long enough tail so that that's going to be comfortable to weave in. And then we are going to take this slip knot and we're going to put it on one of our needles. It doesn't matter which one, both needles are going to be exactly the same if you're using straight needles. Straight needles just means your needle has an end on it, so you've got a pointy end and a knobbly end. Circular needles are going to operate in the exact same way. The only part of the knitting needle that you use in any project is the pointy end. What happens at the other end doesn't matter. So circular needles will be connected by a string to each other, but the only thing that you're using is the pointy end, and the instructions are going to work exactly the same for both of them. So once we've put that slip knot on our needle, we are going to pull a tail. One tail will make the loop get smaller and one tail won't do anything. So if you start off and nothing happens when you pull on the tail, pull on the other tail instead. And you want to make this slip knot kind of touch your needle all the way around with a little tiny bit of give in there. You don't want to leave it super big and open, but you don't want to pull with every ounce of strength that you've got to make it super tight either. And that is how you get started with the very basics of your pattern. There will be another short video that will show you how to do a cast on for this project.